Alrighty then. Good evening and welcome to our little corner of the internet where we talk about fountain pens, inks, journals and journaling, and just about anything and everything that's going to keep you inspired. Good evening, hello. Thanks for all the likes. I see likes already. I appreciate that. It definitely helps to feed the algorithm, the mighty algorithm that runs YouTube that I can never figure out. But a lot of fun to consider and think about. I see Ali J is here. Hello, Ali J. And Obbs, the mighty Obbs. Teresa Harris. Lots of great people. Welcome, everyone. Always nice to see all the usual people that return for our community. I think we have such a great community here. We have a really strong core group that just meets here every Tuesday night to chat about pens and different things that are going on and different ideas. And tonight, I'm going to talk about something I saw. I'm going to tell the story, how I saw this person speaking about how fountain pens are the next status symbol, the next luxurious thing. And I had a reaction to this, as I often do. I have reactions to things, and I share them with you, the good and the bad, always in an honest way, always transparent so you know exactly where I'm coming from. I also want to show a few items that came into the office. I got some Ellington pens. Ellington Pen Company sent me a couple of pens to review. I don't know anything about Ellington pens except that they're very nice. They are very, very nice people. And that's it. That's all I know. I'm not even entirely sure what these pens look like. They're in boxes and I haven't opened them yet. So we're going to do that together. I'm going to take a look and then at some point I'll do a review. But they actually gave me these to do a review on another platform. But why can't I share them with you? Why? Why not? You like to see this stuff. You tell me you do. So there you have it. So I also want to show you Atlas ink from Brendan Schmidt at Atlas Stationers. I showed you a little bit of it before, but I have been using it. And I have my entry in my ink library. So I thought I'd show you. And there might still be a little bit left in my Mag 600. Been writing a few letters with the Mag 600, but that pen is so ink hungry, you literally have to feed it every day. If you write 3-4 letters, it's done. So, especially if you're having a good time flexing it. Empties. I really need to eyedropper that pen. It's a hungry beast, and I need to feed it. And right now, I'm feeding it with Atlas ink. So I'm going to show you that. And I'm going to show you a bunch of other stuff. But you know what? I think I'll ask you, if you've been watching this show on Tuesday nights and enjoying it, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love to get to know you. And we're doing a lot of really interesting things on this channel. I don't think you're going to want to miss it. First, huge news. Huge news. And it's probably maybe not the best time to release this, but you just can't time these things. You just have to send them out into the world and see how they do. But this Thursday at noon is authors and their fountain pens. So I guess I could call it part 2, but I just consider it more authors and their fountain pens. Now here's the problem with YouTube and the way YouTube works, and when you release something on YouTube, if you put part 2, some people won't watch it because they missed part 1. And if you don't put part 2, some people won't watch it because they think it's the same thing they've already seen. So you get a little bit of a conundrum. It's not like it's a movie you put out and it's out there in the theaters and you see the cover and everyone knows it. It's a little bit more nebulous on YouTube, but I want you all to know there is an original authors and their fountain pens coming out this Thursday at noon. And the other thing I really want to tell you about it, and I think you guys know, I've told you before, I am a mix of ego and self-loathing. I both think everything I do is brilliant and it should all be viewed by millions of people, and I want no one to see it because I think it's all rubbish. I hold both of those in my head at the same time. It's just how I'm wired. It's my thing. Honestly, in my belief, this video is the best video I've ever made. The best. It's got the best editing, has the best story. I picked the most interesting, compelling writers. It's emotional. It's tragic. It's dramatic. It has some animation. I did some animation. And it's referencing a recent film that came out. So I'll be curious to see if you guys get it. Let me know in the comments of that if you figure out what I'm referencing. I watched it myself because I have to get ready for the comments, because people sometimes they ask me stuff and I just don't know, because I filmed it 2 months ago and they asked me, like, at 11 minutes, what pen are you using? And it's like, I don't remember, so I'm watching it to get ready. It's my movie, my film. I call these things films now, I guess, but I cried watching this. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I had tears watching this. So if it can affect me after I spent probably 20 hours of my life editing this thing, and it should be, I know everything that's coming. I know every cut. Remember I told you my cuts are like 8 seconds long, and it's a 20-minute long video. It got me. I put it aside. I watched it again. It got me. So I'd be curious to see if it gets you. I'm going to make another request too. We have members on this channel. The first tier are ambassadors, and then we have the cognoscenti and the Illuminati. The cognoscenti and in the Illuminati, we have a pen pal group. We correspond. It's a lot of fun. The ambassadors are incredibly valuable. All the members are incredibly valuable. The reason I named the ambassadors is I wanted to get the idea out that if you see one of my videos and you really like it, send it to someone else who you think might like it. I'd appreciate that, and especially this one, because I think this one on Thursday is very, very, very special. Very, very special video. It was a lot of work to make. I had to do my own animation. It's very rudimentary, but still. It was a first step. I think you'll see more of it on the channel. And there was a lot. I even had to redo some sections. But I'm so proud how it came out. I had to source some cuts and things and some video. I think it's a lot, guys. It's more like a documentary than a pen review video. It's nothing. Well, I don't want to say it's nothing like the first one, but it took the concept of the first one and then it imagined if Ken Burns did it. You know what I mean? Imagined if Frontline took that concept on. That's what I'm aiming for. So if you like it, I appreciate it. Let me know and let somebody else know. It's different. We're going to be doing more stuff like that. Excuse me. You're going to see another fountain pens in film video that once again took what I did last time and elevated it. You remember Spinal Tap? This one goes to 11. So these videos that are coming up, they go to 11. I'm very, very proud of this one on Thursday. But okay, I don't want to keep going on ad nauseum, but we'll talk about it again a little later. I do want to show you which pen I'm using today, and I want to show you some of the show and tell items before we get into our topic, which I think you guys are going to really like the topic. So did you see the review of the Kaweco piston filler, which Yost Applebaum was lovely enough to send? I have Kaweco blue ink in here. It's a broad nib. It's a very elegant pen. Got a lot of really nice feedback. People really enjoyed the video. They liked the history. I'm sensing a theme that people like history. So I have one coming up shortly on another pen brand, and I'm going to hit on the history. It's not always possible. We were speaking last week about how you can't with Chinese pens so much. But with German pens, the history is readily available. So have this in a juicy broad. That doesn't sound right. So I also want to show you this campus note paper. My buddy, who I don't think is here tonight, Laddie Gardner, asked me if I could think of another type of paper that might replace Midori. Midori is not working for him. And this came from Brendan Schmidt at Atlas. And it's Kokiyo. And I'm trying to see if it says it's made in Japan. If it says fountain pen friendly, it doesn't say it overtly. But let's see if it is. It feels a lot like Clairefontaine or Rhodia. Ooh, it's very nice. It's very smooth. But let's write something and see if it feathers and how it takes to ink. And this being a broad nib, I think it's a good way to kind of knock out two stones at once. Laddie is here. I see it. I'm sorry. Nice to see you, my friend. So, as promised, we're going to see if this paper's any good. Anything could happen. I honestly don't know. So, let's see what happens. It's really slick. You know, remember what I said about the A23 being really, really kind of like driving a Ferrari on a residential street? That's what this feels like. It's very fast. Okay. I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's holding up pretty well. Let's try some more broad, brilliant strokes. Yes, it's pretty nice. I think this is pretty good, as Larry David would say. Only minimal ghosting. I like a good ghost myself. I don't mind a ghost. Ghosts are okay. I'm totally off the line. It's not easy to write on camera. You kind of can't tell, but my hand is at a really strange angle. So this looks like a hit to me. It looks like it's a very nice, very fountain pen friendly. So I am going to grade this, and paper, kind of even talking about paper is kind of a new thing for me. But look at that. That's minimal ghosting. Minimal. Look at that. So I'm going to grade this a solid A. You get an A. Maybe a plus. Is that too generous? I like it. I'm having a good time writing with this. So, Campus is good, guys. It's really good paper. Very slick. Ooh. And it rips really nicely out of the binding. I like that too. No place to put anything. Very nice. Very, very nice. Does this rip off too? Oh, yeah. So if you want it to be nice, you could write letters on this stuff. You just tear that off. You get a really nice page. Oh, you know what? Let's try something. I don't know if I have any more ink in here. Let's see. Actually, some got on my hand, so there's a little bit. All right, let's see what happens. This is the mighty Mag 600. If this doesn't mess up paper, nothing will, because this puts down so much ink. Let's see what happens. Now, don't be mad at it for railroading. There's really not much ink in here. There are also folds. There are folds of the map underneath it that I'm writing on. So keep that in mind too. I should probably, I put it out of reach now. Looks pretty good, right? Almost no ghosting. That's as good as any paper. So Campus gets a very nice just going to paint with it. It's very nice for me. I'm trying to make the widest line I can to see what it looks like on the other side. See, that's really good. So, Campus paper. Seal of approval. Let's talk about the ink now. I can't believe there's enough ink to do this. Wearingaw. Oh, it's out now. Wearingaw by Atlas. Luckily, I am prepared. This is what it looks like. All right, I'm trying to adjust it for the camera. So it has the most shimmery shimmer I've ever seen. It distributes it quite well. So very nice distribution of shimmer. So I'm a fan. I should have filled up my mag, but I didn't. All right, let's look at an Ellington pen, because I want to make sure we have time for our main topic. All right, I've never seen these before. No idea what to expect. I'm trying to open it nice because I might need to open it again for my review. Oh, okay. I guess it was, oh yeah, it was upside down. Okay. So there's a box. I don't know about you guys, but I really don't care about boxes. By the way, thanks for all the likes, guys. I see a lot of dislikes. 2 dislikes. What's not to like, guys? What's not to like? Like, if you don't like Ellington pens, that doesn't mean you dislike me. It's not my fault. Wow. This is pretty. This is pretty. How do you open it? Oh, not like that. I can't tell you how many times I do that. Yeah, it's pretty. It's got a nice red. It's got a nice click. A little hard to open, to be honest. It's pretty, though. That's a really pretty pen. I'm not crazy about this. What do you guys think about this? It's like a 1950s hubcap. Does it post? It does. It posts nicely. Converter. Basic converter. But, you know, what do you expect? I don't know how much these are. I'll be honest. I don't know much about them yet. It's pretty, though. And the fit and finish seems nice. There's some ink cartridges. They'll come in handy for other things. Warranty card. I was hoping it would say where it's made. I don't know where it's made. Pretty, though. Shiny. Feels tough. It's a little weird on the opening. I'm not super crazy on the opening. It's very inartful. It just sort of slides. Okay, but there you have it. Not a bad pen. No idea how it writes. Ooh. Let's take a look at the other one, shall we? Shall we? I think we should. Atomic says, what pen are we looking at? Just joined. Ellington. Ellington pens, for those of you who have just joined, have sent me 2 pens to review on another platform. So I thought I would share them here. And they'll probably show up here as well. Okay. Have my Heli. It's funny, one of my nicknames for my wife is Heli. And Hellion. I call her Hellion. My wife's name is Helen. But this is a Heli knife. I really like it. I kept it pristine for probably the first 2 years I had it. But I just like the size of it for opening packages and letters. This is my letter opener, which is why it's always right here. Let's see what the other one looks like. Ooh, matte black. Very cool. Stealthy. You know, some people criticize pens for coming in crinkly plastic. My Pelican M1000 came in crinkly plastic. So I just want you to know that. Some pen sellers take it off. I think I like this nib better. Can you see that? It has like an Ellington E, but it's really cool in black. This is cool. The fit and finish is really nice. The converter is really basic. It has a nice sort of matte feel to it. Posts. I'm not crazy about the cap. This one feels almost like it just pops off really easy. Whereas the other one felt like you had to sort of struggle with it a little bit. I don't know. Well, we'll see. but not a bad pen. I have no idea how much these things cost. But it's exciting. And the people from Ellington are very, very nice. So I'm excited to dive in. I almost want to put the black nib on the red one. Wouldn't that be cool? Would that be cool, or is it just me? Let me show you what else I have lying around. This is the world's cheapest pen case. It's so cheap, but I use it almost every day. And it has my Pelican M800 in it. But I need to be very careful when I take it out. I always bend it back like this so I don't scratch it on the teeth. But do you know why I like these? These cheap cases? Because there's a lot of real estate in there. You put the pen here and there's a lot of like crumple. It's like it's just got a lot of crumple zone and crash proofing. So I feel like it keeps my pens really safe. And I've been writing with this one quite a bit. Quite a bit. I have a really nice ink in here. I'm going to grab the paper again. This has Sargasso Sea from Diamine. Can you guys see this? Yeah. Are you a pelican or a pelicant? Boy, this is so smooth on here. Silky smooth. Very smooth. I like it. I like it. Great pen. So this is handy, and then I have another pen handy I've been surrounding myself with. Then I'm going to get to the main topic, I promise you. The Origin Series Meisterstück. Platinum trim, beautiful nib, beautiful pen. Very fine for a medium. Very nice. Brilliant pen. Having a good time with this too. I do keep this one nice. Maybe this is a good segue. Probably a good segue to the main topic. Status symbols, right? Mont Blanc. Probably the ultimate status symbol in a fountain pen. So I want to tell you this story. I was on another platform and I was scrolling around, as you do. And I came across this person who had a fountain pen page. And they look like they're a pen salesperson. So they sell pens. They weren't just extolling the joy of pens. They were selling. They were surrounded by glass cabinets and things with fountain pens in them. And I watched it and I listened to what this person had to say, and my visceral reaction was very negative. But I'm funny. I'm a funny person. When I have a negative reaction to something, I often like to challenge myself and ask myself, is it me? Am I having some kind of reaction based on how I feel about things? So let me explain to you what this person was saying and how I responded. So they were saying that fountain pens are an outdated and redundant technology, that they're essentially completely useless, except to those that want to write with them, which, if you really think about it, would be anything, right? Wouldn't a car be useless except for people to want to drive them? But setting all that aside, they were saying that with your phone and with other kinds of pens, which are more readily available, to have an expensive item like a fountain pen is an expression of wealth and status, and that it's going to be the next big thing. And that, according to them, the last big thing was watches. So it was watches, now it's going to be fountain pens. So being a person who actually enjoys watches and certainly is passionate about fountain pens, extremely passionate. And my view is that when I heard that, is that status is such an odd thing, because a status symbol, I'll pronounce it both ways. You guys know my pronunciation is very dynamic and changes all the time. So, take something like a Louis Vuitton bag, right? Is it a status symbol? To some people, it's really obnoxious, and to other people, it's aspirational. So I guess it depends where you are and what you value. But for something to be inherently a status symbol, let's take something like a pelican. I mean, I think there's a certain status because we all know what these things cost. But then you can also come by these things through various ways. This was a gift from Brendan Schmidt at Atlas Stationers. Other people on this channel whom I know, lovely people, have received this same pen from people as a gift. So it's certainly not the price necessarily, it's the possession. But you would have to know what Pelican is, have some idea of its heritage and its craftsmanship and its long-standing history to be impressed by it. And I think this is the part that offended me, but not offended me in the sense that I'm outraged and didn't want to watch it, but offended me in the sense that it challenged me and gave me this very negative visceral reaction where I was almost wanting to comment, but I don't. I like to be polite. But I wanted to say, like, you're entirely missing the point of these things. I do think that fountain pens confer certain things. I'll speak about that in a minute. But status is you put it down, and by the virtue of the thing, you acquire some kind of a allure. The magic around an object transfers to you. I guess an easy comparison would be a Ferrari. If you have a Ferrari, the heritage, the price, the prestige of a Ferrari confers some kind of status onto you when you're driving it. To some people. To me, it's just kind of silly. I live in Massachusetts. You hit 3 potholes, it's over, but I mean, I do respect a Ferrari as a thing. I rarely respect them when I see them and how they're usually driven. I respect things more like a Jeep Grand Cherokee from the 1980s. Like, that's where I'm like, wow, somebody kept that all this time. Bravo. Good on you. So fountain pens would have to get to the point where the public at large were educated that Montblanc, Pelican, Visconti, St. Dupont, some of these brands are worthy of admiration separately from the writers and the beautiful people who wield them. I think that's a bit of a leap. I wouldn't be willing to take. To me, any object that has cachet has that because I own it. I make something cool. Something doesn't make me cool. I don't look to the public, to social mores and say, a blue and white rugby sweater would give me status and make me very cool. I look at something and say, that fits into my aesthetic. I'm going to wear it. It's cool because I'm wearing it. That's how I approach these things. I do think that fountain pens, though, are signifiers of certain things. And I think they are signifiers that someone is an individual, that someone is particular about how they write and with what they choose to write with. And probably a bit of a connoisseur of the experience of forming letters, of crafting a line, of the pressure between their hand and the page, or lack of pressure between the hand and their page. That experience of gliding, as I did on this campus paper with the Pelikan M800 and the Mont Blanc Origin, that slippery, sliding, beautiful feel. They want that. They crave that experience, that they know they can grab a pen from a bucket at the local TD Bank for nothing. But they choose not to, and they choose to invest certain sums. Even $30 is a huge amount of money for something that's basically free. Pens are so democratic. They're free. They're everywhere. There's 3 behind your couch right now. Actually, there probably are. And in your case, they're probably Lamy Safaris, right? So I'm thinking that's where they are. But you know what I mean? You in the cushions of your grandmother's house, there's a Bic crystal pen in there. And it's probably been there since 1993. So I just feel that it doesn't so much confer status as it does character. It shows that you have taste. And when you strip that away and make it very reductive and bring it back to the pen, it saddens me a little. It misses the mark for me. And I've seen it. I've seen people who get really into this hobby. I've been into fountain pens for a long time. Probably now 30 years or more. Let's say 30 years. And even before that, there were flirtations, and I've seen them. I've seen people who, sometimes because they were close to me, this before I had a channel and stuff, they saw them, got into them, super into them, started to buy all kinds of pens and got sort of competitive about it, and were in some cases out purchasing me, which really isn't that hard to do. Maybe you know people like this, people who are like suddenly they're into fountain pens. They picked up a love for them 6 months ago, and now they own every Visconti Homo sapiens there is. Every one. They own every Mont Blanc production model, and they're now picking off all the different writer series and the different special editions. They own every Pelikan. I almost own every Pelikan. But you get the point. And they've done it quickly, and I think maybe in that case, they're thinking more about status than they're thinking about the experience. Although maybe they just want to own a lot of pens. So I am a little hesitant, because you never know what's going on in somebody else's head. And by the way, if you want to own a lot of pens and you want to go out and buy every pen that's ever made, be my guest. Good on you. I personally want to know the experience. I want to get to know it intimately. Even when I review a pen, I like to spend a lot of time with it. I'm going to do something very special with Pelikan soon. Very, very special. And I've been living with Pelikan to do it, because I want to see how we get along. I want to see what Pelican does for me as a pen, how it works as a tool, how responsible it is day in and day out, how responsive, how expressive, what kind of thoughts and feelings it inspires within me, both from a heritage point of view, because I am not immune to marketing. You guys know that. I'm a sucker for marketing, and I love marketing. I love good, seductive marketing that gets your head into a place where your personal goals are aligned with a brand, right? If a brand says, we're a fountain pen company, we've been around for 100 years, some great world leaders used our pen, John F. Kennedy used our pen, Dwight D. Eisenhower, just these incredible figures in history. And you have an opportunity to dive into that stream yourself and imagine the same sort of consequence to your own life, both in whatever you're doing and through writing and corresponding with people you love with that pen. I'm a sucker for that. Sign me up. That's probably the basis of half of my videos on this channel. But the thought that I'd be at a business meeting or something and I would take a fountain pen and lay it down in front of me so that Paul Allen across from me picks it up and says, "Hey Patrick, that's a fine fountain pen there." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, Paul, let me see yours." And I'm like, "Watermark, beautiful engraving. Patrick, are you okay?" That's not how I see these things. I think it would really cheapen them. And I think what happened to watches in a way has cheapened them, because watches have gone so far into money bro culture that I'm not sure you can extricate them from that anymore. Watches became almost like crypto. I mean, there was a lot of crypto money in the watch market. When crypto receded like the tide, the values of watches were suppressed because in many ways they were holding some of that value. The same would happen, or same would have to happen with fountain pens were they to be status symbols. There would have to be a monetary component, and we all know that these are rotten investments. They're terrible investments. If you keep it pristine, you're probably able to sell it for half of what it's worth in a year or two. Maybe 60, 70%. They're never going to be status symbols if they're consumables. And they're still a pen, and a pen is a consumable. But what a consumable. I actually think that's the luxury. I think the luxury is if you buy an $800 pen that you love and you've saved for it and you didn't charge it. I have a rule. I never put pens on credit. Well, let me qualify that. I always put pens on Amex to get points, but I pay them off right away. You just don't charge things that are your hobbies. That's your discretionary money. But if you get it and you consume it, you use it, that's luxury. Now, status and luxury are two different things. I'm straying a little bit from our thesis, and I probably should have saved some of this for next week. But luxury is not being a slave to your possessions. Luxury is using it and using it up. I've had people comment, "Oh my God, I can't believe I saw your video and one of your pens were scratched." And it was my Mont Blanc 149 that's a decade old. And I was like, of course it's scratched. This one I'm keeping in a little sleeve, so this one's perfect. Because I have two. I can do that. But my one that my wife gave me, I've taken that all over the place. It's been to Europe with me. It's been in the delivery room when Imogen came into this world. That pen was as close to me as she was at the time. Of course it's scratched. That's the point. It's meant to be used. Of course, I then fixed all the scratches, but I was bored. I regret that now. I regret that I fixed that pen. I earned those scratches, but you know what? I'm going to earn them again because I'm taking that pen with me on further adventures. And all my pens, you don't abuse them, but you use them. And that's the joy. It's not about people thinking you're cool. People mostly think, the only feedback I really get on my fountain pens is at work. And the only comments people say is, oh, you and your fancy pens, fancy pens. And then the fact that when they come in and I have to sign something, as I often do, I usually hold on to it before I give it back to them. And they kind of understand. I'm like, they do understand because they've been around me long enough. And I want to give it back. I'm kind of waving it. All right. It's been a minute. Let me check. Yeah, it's been about a minute. I think I can give you my signature now. Thank you very much. So, that's kind of what other people think. No one is thinking, wow, you are so cool that you have a Pelican M800 in bleu. Which is really beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it? And it writes so well. So well. And it was such a lovely gift from Brendan Schmidt. That's the meaning to me. That's the meaning. So, fountain pens as status symbols, perhaps. Perhaps one day. But not for me. Not to me. And not for me. For me, it's another way to connect with people and to connect with myself. I am trying to express myself from my purest heart, from exactly who I am, in how I dress, in how I speak, in how I write, with what I write with. I want to make those connections. To me, the point of all of this, Hemingway Jones, this channel, writing, each pen I buy, each ink I explore, all of it is the connection we make together. That's the point. I think that the purpose of life is to develop your character, to take care of your family, and to make strong, honest connections with other people. That's why we're here. And that's what I'm trying to do. So if you ever wonder why Hemingway Jones, that's probably about as good an answer as I could craft for you. Honestly. So thanks. So, this week's video, and if you weren't here earlier, it's more authors and their fountain pens. I am so proud of this video, and please, when you watch it, comment. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Knock me down if I'm wrong, but I promise you, this is 2 levels above anything I've ever done. It is by far my best video. So if you watch it and if you like it, just do me a favor and pass it on to someone else. I am trying to grow the channel. I'd love to make more connections, meet more people, especially lovely people like you guys that are here all the time watching this. It means the world to me. And I appreciate the inspiration. You guys inspire me. I hope in some small way I'm inspiring you as well. I really do. I'm going to take a question. Mackie pens. If I could say it. Status symbol? Maybe. Not to me, though. Just a lovely, beautiful pen with so much heritage. And I don't own one. So it would be nice to have one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are probably at the end of a long journey. If you've made it to this point, please subscribe and consider becoming a member of this channel. I'd love to have you on this journey with us. And I can promise you there's a great video coming on Thursday. So we will see each other again extraordinarily soon, further up the road. So take care. And thanks so much, guys. Great night. Take care.